Hey Sugar Geeks, Liz here again. Have you ever wondered how to make your own chocolate candies? Yeah, obviously. It's easier than you think. Actually, all you need is a really nice chocolate mold, some tempered chocolate, and whatever fillings you like. Me personally, we're going for some salted caramel and roasted hazelnuts. Like, yes, let's do this. All right, so I'm starting off with some tempered chocolate. If you need more info on how to temper your own chocolate, check out my previous video in this series. This is my salted caramel recipe that's on the website. I actually took this out of the refrigerator yesterday so that it would have a chance to come to room temperature. You definitely don't want this to be warm at all. You want it to be at room temperature. Put that into my piping bag. Ooh, it smells so good, oh my God. Yes. Now we're using a polycarbonite chocolate mold. It's very shiny. It's a very high quality mold. You can get these online. You can also use like the flexible plastic molds, which are just fine too, but they're gonna be a little bit less super shiny. And I'm extra, so I'm like going for the shine here. And what I'm doing is I'm just polishing the molds. You always wanna do this. Make sure there is not like a scrap of moisture, of dust, of leftover chocolate, nothing in there to make that chocolate stick. Because we just went through all that trouble of tempering. Let's do this. We're gonna go for it. We're gonna take the tempered chocolate and we're just going to pour this right in here. And you see the mold is sitting on a sheet pan so that I can catch any leftover chocolate and scrape it back into my bowl. Okay. That's just a little bit of heaven right there. And then we're gonna take our bench scraper and we're gonna tap. Just make sure that we don't have bubbles. And then we're gonna pour this all back out. Like that. Take our bench scraper again, tap. You want a nice thin shell. It's just an utter mess, and that's okay. We're gonna scrape it all up. We won't waste any of that. You wanna just take your bench scraper and just one quick sweep all the way across, get that excess off. Don't keep going over it and over and over it. It'll just end up being really lumpy. All right, so now we're gonna take our mold and we're just gonna turn it over and place it on top of some parchment paper and just give it a little press. And what this is gonna do is just develop a nice edge around the bottoms of our chocolates. And you only need to leave it there for about 5 minutes. While that's happening, you can clean up this utter mess over here. Okay, so let's just check and make sure. All right, this is perfect. Just wanna peel off your parchment. So our chocolates are not liquidy anymore, but they are not set. We're just gonna scrape again, make a nice clean edge. Just go one time. Okay, so now we're going to take some nuts and put those down in there. I'm gonna start with the nuts because it's easier to put the caramel on top of nuts than trying to stick nuts down in caramel. You could fill this with ganache that's like, you know, flavored with mint or tea even. You could do peanut butter filling, like a little peanut butter cups. It's really the place where you can get creative. So now I have my room temperature caramel. Cut the tip off. And just put that in there. And remember not to fill it all the way up to the top. Leave space. I mean, come on, that looks so good. Take this out of this pan. So I'm just gonna tap this on the table a little bit to just get the caramel to settle. Now I can tell that this one over here is just a little bit empty still. Okay, so now I'm going to fill the backs of these chocolates with some more of my tempered chocolate. You could put these in the freezer to kind of set up the caramel, make sure it's a little bit firmer, but we're just gonna go for it. I'm gonna take my chocolate and pour it into a piping bag. Makes it a little bit easier. We're just gonna come right over the backs of that. Nice and easy, all the way across. I'm just making sure that I'm not having any holes, like I'm not pushing the caramel out. We don't want any leaks. I think a good technique is probably to go around the edges first and then fill in the middle. Give that a couple taps. And then one swipe, done. So now these are gonna go into the refrigerator for at least 10 minutes. You want to give them time to really solidify, for the chocolate to start pulling away from the edges. And that can take longer than 10 minutes. Okay, our candies are out of the refrigerator. This actually took about a half an hour because of the caramel inside of them. It just kind of stops the cold from compressing everything. So don't be in a rush. It might take 10 minutes, it might take 30 minutes. But I'll show you how you know when they're done. You lift them up, and you look underneath, and if you can see that the chocolate has released from the mold, then congratulations, you tempered your chocolate correctly, but you know they're gonna come out. Carefully put like a silicone mat or a pan or something so you can kind of flip them over just in case they fall. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of twist, put some pressure on my molds, and kind of twist in opposite directions, and they should release right out when I tap them. Oop, one's sticking. Ta-da! That looks gorgeous. Look how shiny they are. Nothing stuck, there's no clouding from the chocolate being too hot. Beautiful. All right, so now we're gonna add a little bit of a gold speckle to the tops of our candies here. I just have some Truly Mad Plastic Super Gold mixed with some Everclear. You can paint on chocolates pretty easily with alcohol-based paints, like Edible Artist decorative paints, work amazing. I'm just gonna use a toothbrush and try not to get all crazy. You see just a little light speckle. Okay, let's cut one of these babies open. Oh yes. I love that you can see all of the nuts and the caramel. We've got a nice thin shell all the way around, not too thick on the bottom, not too bad for a non-professional. Now, the most important part, make sure, you know, they're not poisonous. Oh my God, I can taste the effort. I need some milk. That's what I'm talking about. If you like this video, which I'm sure you have, don't forget to subscribe and check out next week's video on chocolate. Gosh. This is literally the first thing I've had to eat today.